We are live on the Las Vegas Strip, right in the shadow of Mandalay Bay. Producer Jim Dallas, co-host as always, Brian Ichikawa with RatePro.com. My son Logan is about to have his 20th birthday. What is it, tomorrow? Your birthday is tomorrow too, Jim Dallas.
Yeah, I'm a few years older than he is.
Yeah, you got a couple of years on him or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my sister and brother-in-law are coming to town. We're going to go out to Valley of Fire, and we're going to do some tourist things for a couple of days.
You said you're doing dinner tomorrow at Venetian. Where are you going? They got 7 great steakhouses there. Where are you going?
I don't know yet.
You don't know. They're taking you somewhere.
Yeah, don't know yet, but it should be good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about today. By the way, we appreciate Ticor Title, who is our partner. I've got multiple deals going with them right now. You know, we hear the news, Brian. 70% of agents haven't sold a house in the last few years. We all know that in real estate, the top 10% sell almost all of the homes. It's kind of very similar to lending as well, right? And who you work with, who you list with. If you talk to an agent that sold no homes, they're a very nice person. They might be very nice looking. They've got nice social media, and they have sold 0 homes. Their prospects on where they think the real estate market is going versus somebody like us. We have 4 deals. I'm going back to Ticor. I'm the buyer's agent, seller's agent. We have Gary Keller Home Inspections. We're kind of got this big group going. You did an inspection for me today. You did an inspection for the seller of the house. You did a deal for us on Monday. I'm the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. Brian's doing the loan for the buyer and for the seller, and we're doing it. So we're doing a lot of business. We've got 4 deals with Ticor. We just closed with one with them the other day, and I'll tell you, Brian, I've got a deal going with somebody else. I wrote it in as Ticor. We got a counter offer. I countered them, and they countered to another deal. They really wanted this other this other company. They forgot to send out the earnest money instructions the other day. The communication, I'm not going to say who it was. You know, we like to get that out right away, get those people invested, a little skin in the game. They didn't do it the next day. We followed up. You know, and I'm the buyer's agent. I want to make sure we get in on time. They missed it. So we do appreciate Ticor. Jim, I sent you the story earlier. I sent you a text when I was listening to the show around 2 o'clock today, 3 o'clock, and said Lou Holtz passed away, kind of a big name in sports. And I don't know why. I can't think, guys, of why, but I always rooted for them when I was a kid. When they were big, I was at a single-digit age. Lou Holtz, beyond football, one of the winningest coaches, right? You know the story better than I. Yeah. But it's sad to see him pass, and beyond just what he did in football, he was a good guy after. He's big into the Catholic charities. I remember just seeing I don't know if the right term is infomercial, but one very recently, a good pillar of the community, I believe. He
was a great motivational speaker, and great football coach, good enough to be hired 6 times in college football, 6 different stops. The most successful was with the national championship with the Notre Dame team back in 1988. And the unique thing about his stint there was he had the second most losses in history, but he had the most wins in the history of Notre Dame too. So a mixed bag there, but he won the national championship in '88. But earlier today on the Kevin Wall show, I was speaking of football coaches, I saw that the Georgia Bulldogs head coach, him, Kirby Smart. Georgia Bulldogs, really good team. He is another motivational speaker, and he talks about the cost of being a great leader. And this is not only in sports, but politics or just being a leader in general. And it's real quick, 3 things in being a good leader. Number 1, you'll have to make hard decisions that negatively affect people you care about. 2, you'll be disliked despite your best attempt to do the best for the most. And number 3, you'll be misunderstood and won't always have an opportunity to explain yourself. Now, does that kind of put in a nutshell what it is to be a leader? You can't please everybody. When you talk about doing it, you take somebody that's a great person in so many ways, there's always somebody that does not like you. That's right.
That's why sometimes I think, guys, you can't please everybody. Be the person you're going to be. Talk about what you want on the radio. People are going to work with you if they like you. If they don't, they won't go down the road. Switch it up a little bit, going back to Vegas. I don't know if you guys saw the North America's largest construction trade show. Con Expo is in town. I go to CES. I go to Barrett Jackson. I go to SEMA show. And I don't know if you guys saw on Desert Inn, I've got 2 deals going right down the street. So I'm driving around DI in Paradise right now. Boy, all that huge new fancy construction equipment out there. But I don't know if you know, there's a little bit of trivia. They were going for yesterday the Guinness Book of World Record largest gathering of all time of guys in high visibility vest. You know what a high vis vest is, right?
Right, yeah.
They're doing it. So they got a photo. They supposedly got over 3,000 people in one gathering, and Guinness Book of World Records is there to certify it. But it's kind of a good thing for Vegas. It's a construction and trade show. We're right across the street from Mandalay Bay. You go out front right now, you see on the big marquee over there, they got Mack trucks. It's a big thing for Vegas. Contrast this with some news that we don't like to hear. We just came out of January, we're in February, now we're in March. We're going back 12 months in a row, Jim, declines in traffic. We know foot traffic has been down. However, this is the first month that we have a drop in gaming revenue as well. We are down 11% on gaming revenue. So what we've talked about before is, yeah, the valets are down, you know, the people that are out working and doing the jobs, but we've had the high end on the revenue coming in on the corporate side, but that is actually down as well. And then contrast that with another story, which is just kind of the opposite of it, is the Circa, pardon me, not the circus. They say they actually have revenue up downtown with their traffic count. So Derek Stevens has been out talking about how he's doing what's called on par. He's matching the Canadian dollar with our dollar to give it on what's called par and making it real attractive for Canadians to come down. But we've got a few things going, right? A little bit of contrasting news. We've got traffic down on the Strip, up downtown. We've got a big...
I think people who want to come to Las Vegas and they want to experience what we experienced up until maybe about 10 years ago, the real old-time Vegas, is free parking. There's a lot of people out there on budgets that just don't want to pay 25
well,
bucks
part of it's
a day
the point of it, right?
Park.
You know, you're going to go down, Brian, you're going to buy a $17 burger with no fries and things down
They should at least validate your parking.
Validate. Yeah. And I've got some amazing
Exactly.
parkings. I posted this. I went to the Circa. I got invited to... you went with me.
I went,
right? We got this pass.
I was that guy. I was with you.
You were the guy that was with me. That was the night I won $2,300 at the Circa. Had an amazing time.
Nice.
They gave us this parking pass. Now, yes, I still got to pay to park. However, I can park right where the owner parks. It's basically a supercar lounge, isn't it, Brian? Right?
They all warned us about the oil.
About the oil, oh yeah. So you cannot have an oil car. If you want to get kicked out of the place, you better have a nice running car with no oil. You know, when I was a kid, or I have some of my contractors and different people that work for me, they go to park in a nice neighborhood, nice driveway. I'm like, park that car outside. I'm at that age now where I have not had a car leak oil in many decades, but you remember when you were young and you used to have a car that would not run on you as well or do those things, but yes, you can't do it. So the story, the Review Journal, downtown Las Vegas casinos say Canadian tourists are coming back. More than 15,000 Canadians have visited in the last 30 days. To put that in contrast, they've been down significantly. Downtown relies pretty heavily on that.
I'm trying to think of the places that don't charge for parking right now. We got Circus,
Treasure Island, I think.
and Treasure Island on the Strip.
Coincidentally, that's something that comes close to home. We have somebody related to that, right? We know that the owner of those two is the same owner, right?
Yes.
That owns that island. He is old school Vegas, and by the way, a guy that's a multi-billionaire, he still pays with cash, doesn't he, Brian? We're talking about $100 bills, and that he's old school Vegas, and that whole parking thing. Look at the casinos that are doing well, the stations and different things. Have you seen the news with Caesars Palace?
Yeah,
so we have
Fertitta.
The Fertitta. There is a chance that Fertitta will be putting a bid in for the casinos. We know that people have talked about the money, all this money that has been put out, and these are golden parachutes for these companies. Give you Stratosphere as an example. They're selling all their ground for $1 billion, but they're paying back, what is it, $100 million a year lease. Now that's great for the CEO and the CFOs and the people that are getting that money. It's not a great deal over time. 10 years blinks. As you know, we're having birthdays coming up.
Right.
10 years goes by fast. Remember when you were 10 years younger, it felt like it was not very long ago. That money is going to be
still had
gone.
more hair, and it was mostly black instead of salt and pepper like it is
They're
now.
fleecing these companies. Well, what's happened is we've seen places like Cosmopolitan, right? The MGM, they owned it. They own the ground. They sell the money. They get a nice reap of money coming in. A lot of people get enriched very greatly, but all of a sudden you go by and they're paying these huge leases to these hedge funds, Blackstone among others. Right now, Caesar's Palace is about to be toppled. Their debt, very similar to the Fontainebleau, they have so much money in debt, they cannot afford to be able to even bring it in. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars every day and then some just to pay the interest. This is for bills, this is for union dues, all these different things they got to pay. So I think we're going to see somebody come in and a better operator than is there now. Caesar's Palace used to be quite the place. I teased, I posted, I got a few thousand likes on Instagram. I put Caesar Station, right? It's kind of funny because you think of it as just this epic place, right? This iconic place, and right now it's not being run well. Very expensive. We see the $26 waters and things. Those things are unsustainable, especially when you go out in the desert, go to Marengo and these different places. They want your business more. As you know, Brian, you were an online bettor. You did a little betting. It's very easy to bet anywhere, right? It's all on your phone, meaning
that's right.
Vegas does not have that monopoly anymore, and these other places want your business.
Imagine Caesars being for locals.
People want to feel valued when they come to Vegas, and if you're charging $20 for a water, we know it doesn't cost that much.
Oh yeah,
so
we've all talking about that $26 Fiji water that somebody said, which is just ridiculous. And we talk about parking. By the way, I've gone to 2 ice skating, the Golden Knights. One time it was $40. Went to PBR, it's 40. Last time I went to the Golden Knights, somebody invited me for a ticket. It was $60 to park at the New York. Come on, $60.
$50.
You and I, we met at Italy Service. We met at Italy Service the night that you and I went. We ended up going down. We're running a little.
You should park over here.
Yes, we're right here. I always say we're right in the Shadow Mandalay Bay. So when Brian and I went to a Keller Williams event last year sometime, we parked right here. Right here at the station, we're right across from JSX.
I've gone to about 4 Golden Knights games, and I've parked here and walked over every time.
Well, the A's come out. The A's will be here in 28. This will be kind of a nice place.
Walk over there, too.
I will still be here at the station. We'll be able to go right down the run. We're running a little bit late on this break. There's a lot of things to talk about. We've got Gary Keller, friend of the show, current client. We're going to talk a little bit about FLIR and ways to protect yourself in the home inspection. We appreciate you listening. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We are back live on the Las Vegas Strip, right in the Shadow Mandalay Bay. Jim Dallas, co-host Brian Ichikawa with the RatePro.com. We have our friend of the show, Gary Keller, Keller Home Inspections. You've done 2 home inspections for me this week, including today. You're going to do one for me coming up. I'm about to book tonight when we get home. We've talked recently when you've been on the show. You got this fancy new camera. And I will tell you, I want to talk about your FLIR. You got it sitting on the floor. I want to see this thing. When we do home inspections, one of the biggest things that we think about is water damage and things, right? Water is so much more damaging to a home percentage-wise than fires, right? We think of fires as raging things, but water damage, especially latent water damage that comes out. When we look at drywall, guys, you know, when we see a home that's had a flip, right? It's remodeled, put some fresh drywall, you do some new plaster, you do some new texture on it and paint it, can't see anything behind the walls. Often, it's very similar, Brian, to a car that's been painted, right? We know that cars, we talk about Carfax, but the rich guys that don't do Carfax, they don't do insurance, they just fix the car. They never have to disclose
no one
it,
knows.
They just get it fixed, you never see it. However, when you can see beneath the car, put it up on a lift, you have a camera, Gary, that you're using, and it's better. You've been doing home inspections for me for 11 years, but you've got this big fancy new camera here. It really looks at everything. So what I liked today, so we did a house today that's almost a darn near model, Brian. You're doing the loan for it right now. I mean, it is a little over a year old. It's completely modeled. She's getting all the furniture with it. It probably didn't even need an inspection, but you go through, you take a picture with the old traditional FLIR cameras that we've used. FLIR means forward-looking infrared. It's looking for moisture differentials and things. You'll just take a picture, but how can you tell where the heck it's at? Your camera now, you click it twice, it actually shows where you're taking a picture, right? So it looks like a regular picture on a camera.
Yes, it does. It will take a picture so you can see exactly what area you're in, and then you actually take the FLIR photo. So you have 2 right side by side, and if there's any kind of leaks or anything, it's going to really pick it up. But yeah, it's a really nice camera. You can shoot a whole room. You know, the attics are really great too. You know, when you're up there and you're the AC's running, and you want to make sure, you know, there's no holes in your ducts and things like that, and you're not trying to, your AC's not, you know, leaking in the attic. So yeah, it's really a nice camera.
When you're talking about looking in the ducts, typically with the FLIR, you're looking just for moisture and drywall and things, but you're using this one, you said it's better than your old camera. When you're looking for out of the receiver and out of the ducts, you're looking for temperature differentials. You're able to use this as well, especially up where we get the furnace up in the attic. You're able to use this new camera, which you have in studio with us. So it's a beauty.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes when you're doing the supplies and returns with this, it's a lot more critical, you know, a lot more.
So this is more accurate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I like Brian, you know, if you've looked at reports, the appraiser sometimes wants to see it, and you see this color, and it's all orange and yellow and blue. You practically got to be a radiologist to be able to read the darn thing, and then you don't actually see what it was, right? You're just looking at a picture and it shows color, you have no idea. But with this new camera, it shows the click. So when you do the inspection report, so I've got your inspection report to go over tonight with the buyer and such. It actually shows what you're actually doing. It's pretty good. But talk about how it can really save you money, save a buyer or seller, be able to actually find something, what we call a latent leak or latent defect, something that you may not be aware of because it's very slow. Give you an example. I had a home many moons ago. It was my own personal home, an expensive home at the time. I bought it brand new. I noticed some warping on the wood. I did not really pay attention to it at one time, and one day I came home and my garage was flooded. What happened is the plumber forgot to use the PEX. He has this little tool that can go around and seals it. He forgot to seal it. What happened is I didn't use my hot water that often, near as much as cold. That water just dripped. Every time you put on hot, a little bit of drip, a little bit over time. Something you're not aware of. You live in a house a year or two and all of a sudden it splits. If you're doing that home inspection and you're going around areas where there's water and you're using it, it's going to be able to really let you know there's an issue.
It will pick it up,
Yeah,
it will.
Water's so damaging, guys, as you know, all of a sudden it blows up, it goes through the entire house. You've got to rip out carpet, expose everything. Sometimes you rip or you cut the drywall to bring it up, makes the house unlivable. Very expensive to do. This is something that's very good. Other lesser home inspectors, things may either charge you or have a lesser camera, but you have it. I appreciate you using it.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives you an overall look. If you see any leaks, you know, it'll pick it up behind the walls and underneath the sinks, underneath, you know, around the toilets and all those areas where the water's coming and you know, it's an extra set of eyes. So it's a really nice camera. I really do like it. It's you know, really nice.
Yeah, it's great. So we're talking with Keller Home Inspections, very important part of the buying process, right? What we do when we go in as a buyer, you go in, you get a chance to do a home inspection. Gary comes over, he checks out your whole house. Some people are not aware of it. They haven't bought a house in a while. They're not sure the way it works. You go in, and the home inspector goes, now I've got a house right now that's in escrow. It's built in 1974. It's got a wood burning chimney. The roof's a little different. You fly a drone over the house right now. Remember the old days, everybody climbed up on the roof and looked. Well, Brian, you know we got the terracotta roofs that are round and curved. You can't walk on those roofs, right? You've got to literally remove those to be able to walk and not crack them. You're flying them with the drone. But you can also say, hey, you got a 1974 house. I see some slippage and things. You're going to refer us to somebody else, right? For example, a house, maybe the flashing's gone or it's bent or different things. You're going to be able to give us a heads up to
yes, exactly.
For another inspection, right?
Exactly. If I see any roof damage or anything out of place and it's in tiles, or I definitely want to get a roofing contractor or a qualified technician to further investigate.
We can also bring Gary in as a precursor, right, when you're getting your house listed.
Yeah, for a pre-inspection, right? Now here's the one thing. I had an attorney on Jared Moser, right? He does real estate and commercial and different things. And I was talking about him and I corrected him. I said, listen, I know you're the attorney, but I will tell you this. Once you become aware of something, you have to disclose it. Doesn't matter how you became aware of it. So if you do bring that home inspector over to bring your house and check it out and do it because you're unaware of things, remember this, it kind of cuts both ways. Now you know about it, you're going to need to be disclosing these things. We always want to disclose. It's not about whether or not the issue has been fixed or corrected. I'll give you an example. You had a water issue, second story water heater in your condo, for example, and you spilled you cleaned it, you had an insurance person, you need to disclose it. We have what I think is the most important document for a seller, which is called the SRPD, the Seller's Real Property Disclosure. And I tell people, there's so many agents, they're so worried about that one sale, Brian, where they want to hide an issue because they think they may lose their deal, and I'm absolutely the opposite. I said the most important thing we can do is disclose, because you can say the house has termites, asbestos, there's a hole in the roof and everything. As long as you disclose it properly, it's now on that buyer to make a decision whether or not they want to do it, right? It's not a buyer beware state. You do have to tell these people this, but we always disclose. So I always say, if there's an issue and you tell me about it, if we do that inspection. Now, going back to Gary, yeah, sometimes it is good to get that house inspected, especially if you know there's an issue, you're not quite sure. In other words, nothing is necessarily, quote, broke at the moment. Gary can come over, do that inspection for you, and maybe hit those things at the outset, get them taken care of, still disclose them before we're in a market, as we know, guys, is a really firmly in the buyer's market range right now. Here's a story right now from Redfin that came out today. Where is it? Inman News. Builders are cutting prices faster than sellers. 19.3% of all homes, new homes, have been reduced. We've got another story saying that we have, what, a 4.5 to 5 month supply of homes. We know it's a little bit more competitive market, so maybe bring that inspector over pre-inspection and get those things maybe checked out. We've had a Kosha Home Warranties on before. Do you know about the pre-inspection, Brian? You can actually get a warranty for your home for things that, right, if you already know of it and it's broken, it's bad, you can't put it on and have that be a pre-existing condition, but we can actually get home inspection coverage warranty during that period before you sell that home. So if something happens in that period, I'll tell you, just had something the other day, got a house, water heater went out. We are in contract, right? I've had some significant breaks. I'm sure you've seen this too, and you guys have, where the home, things just happen to break while you're in contract, day before or so. That home warranty can be very powerful and be very helpful for you that time. What do you think about doing home inspections? I know what you're going to say. Pre-inspections before you do the house, you think those are helpful for looking at it, getting out ahead of a few things and getting them looked at, especially things that are not to code, like the GFIs that are out, different things. What do you think about coming over pre-sale?
Yeah, pre-sale, yeah, exactly. That's a really good idea. You know, you can find all your issues with the house before you're, you know, before you get it listed. So you know exactly what you're into it, and hopefully you can take care of a lot of that stuff if anything comes up on the report.
Real good. I'm talking with Keller Home Inspections, Gary Keller, co-host Brian Ichikawa with the RatePro.com. We're going to talk about rates. We're going to talk about WAR and what we're looking at for the market moving forward. Are rates going to continue to go down? New Fed chief was officially nominated today. We're going to talk about that and more when we get back. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We are back on the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. Appreciate our partner, Tycor Title, most resourceful people in the business. What I care about them, Brian, is the communication. I never miss emails. I've told them a long time ago, I said, I want to be on everything because I want my buyer, my seller to call me and say, hey, did you see this? And I don't know. So I may not comment on everyone, but I like to be involved. I love the communication. If you're picking a title company, it is who I like to use. I feel like there's so many things to talk about in real estate today. We haven't got to them. Appreciate Gary Keller. He's going to stay with us for the rest of the show. KB New Homes, KB Homes, I'm in deal. I got an escrow. They just pushed it up, by the way. We're going to be closing escrow with them in May in a new home in Summerlin. They just announced 1,500 brand new homes. They just bought land. It's going to be going out the north edge of town. You know, today was the kickoff for the Jim for the political season for filings. We have a friend of the Kevin Walsh Show, Dr. Flippo. It's in his name, by the way. Flip is in his name. He flipped from the 4th to the 2nd.
Right, yeah. Flippo is, he was going to run against Steve Horsford in Congressional District 4, and now he's running against, well, an unknown opponent right now in Congressional District 2, because Mark Amadei, who's been there for, I don't know, 15, 16 years in Congressional District 2, is retiring.
Yes, he is. It's been 15 years. He actually did pretty well. He was on the Kevin Walsh Show, what was that, 2 weeks ago? We were there, and I'll be on tomorrow for 2 hours. But I bring that up because he was talking today when I was listening to him live, talking about getting the feds to release more land and things. And we're just talking about Lack of affordability. I just saw a story,
right.
guys, on the Wall Street Journal today. This is by far, not even close, this last year, more people have been borrowing against their 401ks than ever to be able to just get through life and things. Talk about affordability here. And what happens is sometimes we look back on things, right? I missed the stock in Apple when it came out. I missed this and this. The opportunity right now, Brian, with rates coming down what they're at, we're still firmly a buyer's market right here in Las Vegas. What do we mean by that? We quantify that. We have about, 4.5 to 5 month supply of homes on the market. You know what's going to happen, guys? We have so many things moving here, people moving here, got the A's and all this. We are a move-to market. We're the 5th biggest move-to market in the country still. Supply and demand metrics are still there. Jerome Powell, just about a year ago, came out and said, listen, unless a state starts losing its population or people dying off, home prices are never going to go down. Yes, do they trend up and down? Of course they do, right? We went from 488. What was our high, Jim, in November? 488. We dropped to 470. So we trade in a range. However, the trend line is always seems to be up and to the right.
Well, you talk about affordability. They say 10 years ago you only had to have an income of like $42,000 to afford a mortgage. You know, in 2015. Now it's 111,000.
Wow.
It's nearly tripled.
There's 241 in California. But speaking of, I'm going to flip for 2 seconds. This story is getting some heat online. They're right now, and I'm licensed in Southern California with the agency in California. They're giving away a down payment assistance program here in Vegas, about $20,000. They're giving away $150,000.
Up to 20%.
Not to go to an FHA or a 1% conventional, or 3, to put 20% conventional down. However, your parents can't own a house. You have not been able to own a house. It's only just by almost the definition, the criteria for somebody that has not worked here and lived here.
It says first generation homeowner.
First generation, that's fine. It's good to be able to get people going. This was not the subject I was going to go to, but it's got a lot of heat online. It sounds good. It's like you're giving me you're giving somebody $150,000 down to be able to
but if your mom and dad had a house, you can't get that money.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
You can,
if your mom and dad own a home, you're not qualified, and it's a lottery.
At any point.
It is a lottery, and that part is realistic to have it to be a lottery. The story is California, 150,000 DPA is a lottery for first-time buyers open for applications. If you are selected, the state's randomized lottery system, you can receive up to 20% of the home's purchase price, capped at $150,000. There's no monthly payments back in the $150,000, Brian. You know, we had the Home is Possible loan for a while, and that was actually pretty good. This was a deal where it was a very small percentage that you had to pay. You could make up to $98,500 a year, which is pretty good back in, what was that, 2018, 19, that's when it was good. Then they changed it. But if you sold the home in a given period of time, you'd have to pay back the money. This one is no monthly payments, first-time home buyer for no ownership in the past 7 years, first-generation buyer, parents cannot currently own a home, and it's within your county's income limits, which means you can't, get this and be making $2 million a year, but that's just a kind of a program that I was leading into based on this affordability. But what I was getting at is right now is there's people on the sideline going, oh, rates are still a little high. Well, we know that we are the lowest rates we have been since in 4 years, Brian, right? 5.99 is the average. And is there anything materially difference between 6.0 and 5.99 in practice? Of course not. However, it's that average is finally gotten below this amount, and we know from national statistics and locally, that's going to bring hundreds of new buyers out locally. And what happens, our prices have been coming down a little bit. Days on market are up. Did you see that a Review Journal said we're officially 78 days on market? Let me put that in perspective. Back in COVID, Brian, what was it, 12, 13 days on average? Now, when we talk about average, there's houses that are much lower, and ones are much fewer.
And back then, you only had 2 months worth of.
Now, I think I'm a pretty decent agent. I have houses that are 100 plus on the market. You go, what gives? Why are your houses higher? Well, one of the things that we're seeing, guys, I want to tell you this little tip. When you see houses that are off or on market, you want to go to what's called history. We have something called combined days on market now, because, and I've had multiple people ask me for this, we will expire a listing, put it right back on like it is new, like it's new again, and they want to see this. That's just baloney. The houses, we all know it's still on the market for there. So the days on market are up significantly right now. If you're a buyer on the sideline, you should be talking to Brian, theratepro.com. get qualified, and be actually looking, because what will happen is, say rates continue to trend down. I was going to lead into, we are at war right now. When you and I were texting over the weekend, we said, watch the 10-year start to slide down a little bit. We're thinking about consumer confidence, the bond market looking at things. Rates are probably going to continue to trend down just a little bit. We also have Kevin Warsh, was officially nominated today. Many of you have heard the name Jerome Powell, right? Jerome Powell. So there are a few different guys named Kevin that were up for nomination. Well, this name has been known for about 5 to 6 weeks now. He was officially nominated today. He's going to be what they call a dove, which means he's most likely going to be voting to bring down rates a little bit further. What we could see happening, guys, is all of a sudden going into the spring market, right? Last year was the slowest since 2007 here locally in transactions. We just talked in the last segment about more people right now have a mortgage over 6% than 3%, which means they're more likely to be able to sell that home when life changes than giving up that 3%. We could be coming into a little bit more of a buyer's market coming up soon. What do you think, Brian?
Oh yeah, no, it's in the demand's going to go up, and then you're going to have more competition. So if you're going to thinking about doing it, do it now.
Yeah, you've seen those memes, those reels. Brian and I are on Instagram all the time. We're sending each other reels. Some of them I wouldn't want anybody to see, but we send a lot of wild reels here and there, right? But there's a lot of them where they'll show a house and they'll show different prices, right? You see the prices where they were before with the rate, and all of a sudden, yeah, the rate goes down and the price goes up, right? Inverse price action. That's the supply and demand metric. And I'm bringing this up because I typically have around 85 to 90% sellers, right? I do my seller service where I take care of the cleaning, the decluttering, I pay for your move and do all these things. Sellers definitely call me, right? Now I'm working with more and more buyers, but I will tell you this, guys, the buyers are going to start coming out. You're going to see multiple offers. Prices may not go up a lot, which is probably healthy if you are buying, but I think you're going to see more transactions, there's going to be more competition. This might be the time to get pre-qualified. I want to talk about rates in the end, before the end of the segment. I've talked about a few times. We closed a deal at $350,000 very recently, a deal that you're the agent. I was the agent for, what was he?
Yeah.
5.25. 5.25, right, with only 3.5% down. Now, when we say the average just dipped to 5.99, you're like, how can you get down to, what was it? The 5.25. That's what they call on the national average. You actually have people that are getting into the 4s if they have just a little bit of leftover money from closing costs, right? They get into that program, and maybe the buyer's agent, we asked for 10 grand back for closing costs, and the closing costs are maybe only 6,000 or 7,000. For that extra few $1,000s, you're able to maybe bring these points down and get people.
I mean, we had another situation. I mean, you're allowed to have the seller contribute 6%, up to 6% of the sales price, and 6% of the sales price is actually more than 6% when you considering the loan amount.
Yep.
And so when you do all that, yeah, you are able to get down to pretty low rates. So, and FHA, VA, those are the two that have the always consistently right now in the 5s.
Yep, in the 5. So you can absolutely get that. You can do can you get no doc in the 5s now?
No.
You're still over a little in the 6s?
Well, no, I take that back. You put enough money down, you can.
Get it in the 6s. So we're getting, let's talk about VA. 9.4% of the deals here in Vegas are VA. I work with VA buyers. I've got a veteran buyer as we speak. What kind of rates can somebody get in if they're in that conventional range?
And they're also in the low 5s right now.
And so we do something special. We've talked about it before on our show. If you are a veteran and you buy with me, I'm going to kick you back $2,000 towards your closing costs. Also pay for your appraisal. Brian would waive that. What they call funding. Is it the funding fee or the escrow fee?
The underwriting fees.
Underwriting fees. So we appreciate you if you're a veteran. We're at war, and I got to go off for just a second on the war. We're in this video game society. We don't get the boots on the ground per se like we used to back in World War II and Korea and things, but you saw the sinking of that ship today with the torpedo.
Right.
And in some ways you go cheer like, oh, the Iranian, the regime from 1979, they're bad people, but a lot of people lost their lives in those things. And I got to tell you, as much as I think the world would be better off with that regime, it's on a personal level to actually see, knowing how many people had to die on a ship like that. This kind of takes me when I think about the veteran run I grew up on. I lived in military housing. While I didn't serve, I was a military brat. When you see some of these things going on, I feel like so many people, they vote for it almost like it's a video game. It's not a video game. Many people are dying. We'll see what the tolls are, but
yeah, human beings are losing their lives, and I heard the stats on the Russian and Ukraine war. It's like 25,000 per week.
Oh, jeez.
It's thousands per day.
It is something
crazy.
I'm looking at we got the Fox News on here in the studio. Hakeem, I will tell you this: when we have these Congress people on the other side, that they're the only ones that are voting for this war, while the Iranian people and so many other people are cheering. 500,000 people taken to the streets in LA. There was no riots. There was no police arrest. There was nothing. It feels like the enemy within might be on the left side of the aisle. I gotta tell you.
I would tend to agree.
I mean, don't you guys? I mean, I hate to,
100%.
the common sense now. It's not there.
Sir.
I'm a libertarian in a sense. I'm a very right libertarian, but there's certain things I'm okay. Like I'd like us to stay out of certain wars and things. That's not the administration we have now, but they have no. Fetterman is a guy with common sense.
Unbelievable.
You know, and by the way, he can be a Democrat, but he's like, listen, this is the way it is.
Right.
This is our country, and this is this.
He's
like a smart guy.
It took a stroke to make him do that.
Yeah, I quipped on the Kevin Hall show. Came out of his stroke smarter than when he went in.
Exactly. He's much smarter now than he was before.
And by the way, he goes, I'm still a Democrat. He goes, I'm able to put party politics aside and vote on things. We're running late on this segment. We appreciate you listening. Brian Ichikawa, theratepro.com. If you are working on a loan with anybody else, get a second opinion. It's money. It's your money. It's hard earned. Check with him, see what he can do. Of course, Gary Keller Home Inspections. We appreciate you listening. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We are back live in the Las Vegas Strip here at the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. Brian Ichikawa, theratepro.com. Jim Dallas, Gary Keller. I got to switch gears for a minute. I was going to say, on the show, we're all car guys here. You're a car guy. Brian and I are for sure car guys. We're going to be going out on, let's say, the 4th. We're going out to the Spring Valley Raceway. We're going out to the karting on March 15th. You and I went out last year. It was for your birthday weekend. We went out. We've got multiple homes out there for sale. We're selling the world's coolest race car track house. We had a little issue with the title. We had to hold off. It's a $6 million house out there right on the racetrack, guys. It's amazing. We rented, Brian and I hosted an event. We rented 3 brand new Corvette C8s. We hired professional drivers, picked people up, Jim, right at the racetrack. Picked it up at the house. We had people showing up in Lamborghinis and things. They're like, these Corvettes are unbelievable. So they took all the videos and things. We raced them around the track for a couple hours, cost a couple of grand. Well worth every dollar of it. But I'm also selling 3 other tracks out there, homes out there, out on the lots, right? IMSA racers. Brian and I get around sports cars, exotics, and all that. But we're going to go out racing on the 15th track day. We're going to take one of the box trucks. We might need 2, but we're going to take one. We're going to take the carts out there.
Now, how big are these cars?
These are carts. Brian can talk more about it.
It's
technical difficulty there. So
it's that fourth microphone.
Well, think of Malibu. Think about Malibu Raceway, as you mentioned, and then do it on steroids, right? These are cars that I'll accelerate. Engines. Yeah, these are 2 cycles. These are fast. Some of them are what they call shifter carts. Yeah. And then some are automatic. Talk about what a shifter cart is and an automatic is. When we went racing about a year ago, the day that we had our huge event out there that we did on the racetrack, we raced shifters and automatics. So
yeah, we did them both. No, you got a chance to do them both, but the shifter it's the fastest thing you can get. It has 6 speeds. It has brakes in the front and rear. It'll go 100 miles an hour.
Very quickly.
And it's faster than the Ferrari. Yeah,
it's quicker. It's quicker than the Ferrari. When you see them race, it's not even close off the line. It's going to get to that first corner. They have no suspension. By the way, guys, the traditional method, we're a Formula One town, was always the karting, right? The Lewis Hamiltons, the Leclercs, they all raced karts. Then you go up to Formula 4, go to 3 to 2 to 1 to get up to the Formula One racing. But now, believe it or not, just like the guy that raced in who's the guy that the movie Gran Turismo? Yeah. They're saying now that these new full simulators outbeat learning the kart way. You go, no, that's counterintuitive. The difference is they have full suspension. When you race a kart, there's no suspension. Yeah. So when we're talking about tail braking and cornering and exit speed and all these different things, you don't feel it the way you would in a regular car. In other words, the way you learn to drive is different. with these full simulators.
They're not forgiving at all.
They're not forgiving, right? It's a whole different way to drive when you're trying to drive at the absolute max, which is full throttle to where you're in the rumples going around the corners. Do you remember? I was using the owner, so the owner of the this race car house that I have listed, for $6 million. He's a professional racer. He's a world champion 3 times. He left me his cart. He took his car and went back to the track while I was racing in it. I went around the corner as fast as I could.
Yeah, he flew off the track.
I didn't wreck. I kept my foot in it. See, a lot of guys wuss out.
Right.
They let off their gas. They didn't get compression. They whip around. I kept it in the gas. I whipped those tires. I went through the rumbles. I went through the rocks. I whipped them down, but I never slowed down. I just kept.
I got on a video.
Yeah, we got lots of videos that you're going fast. You're pulling a couple G's in these corners. You could never go this fast around in a Ferrari or some other supercar on one of these tracks. You're absolutely flying.
How many laps are you guys going to be doing?
Oh man!
Well, this is track day. You could be out there for multiple hours. We fuel them. You're.
I think we'll get 60 laps.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
But
it's the purest form of racing.
So Jim, on the steering wheel, tell guys about the track. So what you do is you push the go, and it keeps track of all of your
it has
track
a GPS. It knows your sector times. It knows the layout, everything. It knows your RPM.
So you can see where you're losing speed,
sensor,
where you're better than somebody else and things.
Wow.
So it's going to check it so you can actually check your performance. If you're consistently losing, you can look at where the other guy is and kind of see where his how he's exiting, right? Is he going in too fast in the corner and trying to accelerate out? Maybe you should be doing another line. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm trying to tie that into real estate, since Brian said I'm the king out there. I'm not quite the king. There's another guy that's out, except for I have the most expensive house up there. We're talking about 3266 Spring Mountain.
That guy's being phased out.
Yeah, he's being phased out. I'm on my way there. I've got a little bit of a connection. So some of the properties we're selling now, we can actually give away $100,000 membership and even give you a brand new radical race car out there if you buy with us. I'm going to switch back to real estate that most people can buy. Owner carry, Brian, I know that you like to actually get loans. I have 3 different properties with owner carry right now. We've got 1421 Santa Margarita, which is a condo, 2-bedroom, 2 full bath, downstairs unit 205. We're doing owner carry with reasonable terms. I can get you approved very quickly on that. I've got Maryland Parkway, 1920 Maryland Parkway, which is a commercial property. We'll do that with 10 or 20% down, below market rate. We've got a lot of different listings. But let me tell you about, I hear other radio shows and they talk about listings. They've already been on the market for 2 months. Everybody's seen those. But let me just tell you right now, we have an RV parking, no HOA, 10,000 square foot lot pool right by Warm Springs and 215. We're bringing on the market for $235,000. Great parking, 2-story, new appliances, ready to go. We're going to be bringing that on the 11th. If that's something you're interested in, please give me a call.
235?
No, 535. But it's full-size house with 100 feet of RV parking, no HOA, big pool, 10,000 square foot lot. RatePro.com. We've got Gary Keller, Keller Home Inspections. Look for him on Instagram. See all his cameras and things. If you need it, you're an agent, please give him a call. Give Brian and I a call. Work with guys that you like. We'll take care of you. We're on the right side of the fence too. We do appreciate you listening. Thank you, Jim Dallas. Happy birthday.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you
Happy
tomorrow.
birthday.
I'm a co-host on the Kevin Walsh Show tomorrow from 1 to 3. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour.